Okay, lesson number 7 is compute with scientific notation. So what we're going to do this lesson, we're going to use what we learned in lesson 6 on just basic scientific notation, and now we're going to use it and we're going to do different operations. We're going to learn how to multiply, divide, add, and subtract. But what we're going to do, since this lesson is a little bit longer, we're going to split it up into 2 sections. So for this video, we're just going to learn how to multiply and divide when numbers are written in scientific notation. Okay? So you're only going to be doing half of your lesson tonight for this video. Let's take a look at an example. Okay? It says evaluate 7.2 times 10 to the third times 1.6 times 10 to the fourth. Express the result in scientific notation. What they want you to do is they want you to leave the number in scientific notation and multiply. They don't want you to put it in standard form. And they want your answer in scientific notation. So let's see how they did this here. Okay, here are your 2 numbers that you're multiplying that are in scientific notation. What they've done is they've grouped them. So they took 7.2 and they took 1.6 and they put them together. Okay? Then what they've done is they've taken 10 to the third times 10 to the fourth and they've put those together. It's kind of like putting like terms together. But since it's all multiplication, we know through the commutative and associative properties that we can move things around and it's not going to affect our answer. So what they've done is they've taken 7.2 times 1.6 and got 11.52. Okay? Then what they've done is they've taken 10 to the third times 10 to the fourth, and we know from our work with exponents that because they have the same base, we can add the exponents. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So here's what we end up with. 11.52 times 10 to the 7th. The problem is that's not really written in scientific notation because of that decimal point. That decimal point needs to be swung over one place. So we've moved that decimal point one place, but when we do that, that changes our exponent. We have to add 1 on to it. So it changes from a 7 to an 8. Okay? So your final answer is 1.152 times 10 to the 8th. Okay? Alright, what I want you to do, use that example, pause the video, and I want you to try these 2 problems right here. Okay? In A, you're going to group 8.4 and 2.5 together, and then do your exponents together. Then do 2.63 times 1.2, put them together. Alright, so pause the video and try those out. Okay, let's see how you did here. So I wanted you to rewrite the problem with the 8.4 and the 2.5 together, and then you put your powers of 10 together. So if you use your calculator, 8.4 times 2.5 is 21. 10 to the second times 10 to the 6th, we add our exponents, we get 10 to the 8th. The problem is 21 is not written in scientific notation. Okay, we have to move that decimal point that's right here, we have to move it over 1. And when we do that, we have to change our exponent as well. So our final answer here is 2.1 times 10 to the 9th. Again, we moved this over 1, so we have to add 1 here. Okay? Let's take a look at B. Your first step would be to group 2.63 and 1.2 together. Okay? Then put your powers of 10 together. Use your calculator, multiply 2.63 times 1.2. You get 3.156, and that's good news because that is written with the decimal point in the correct spot, so we don't have to change anything. Let's look at our power of 10. 4 plus a negative 3 is 1. So we are actually done. This is our final answer right here. Because again, that decimal point is in the right spot, so we're done. Okay? Let's take a look now at division. What do we do when we have to divide numbers that are in scientific notation? Okay? It's basically just like the multiplication. We're going to group numbers together. Okay? Here's your word problem. In 2010, the world population was about 6,860,000,000. Okay, the population of the United States was about 3 times 10 to the 8th. About how many times larger is the world population than the population of the United States? Well, this is a division problem, okay? But before we start, what we have to do is we have to change 6,860,000,000 to scientific notation. And what they've done is they've rounded that up a little bit. They took that and made that 7 billion, okay? And they changed it to scientific notation. 7 times 10 to the 9th. Okay. Now that everything's in scientific notation, we're going to take that number and we're going to divide it by the population of the United States. So look how they have that set up. 7 times 10 to the 9th divided by 3 times 10 to the 8th. So it's just like what we've done so far. What we're going to do, okay, we're going to take 7 divided by 3, and then we're going to do our powers. And remember, when we're dividing exponents, we subtract our exponents. Okay? So 7 divided by 3 is 2.3. And then when we do our exponents, 9 minus 8 is 1. So our final answer is 2.3 times 10 to the first. Now we're lucky because 2.3 is already written in perfect scientific notation. We don't have to change that decimal point. Okay? Now, your got it problem is exactly the same thing. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to change that to scientific notation, and then you can do some division. So go ahead and pause the video here and try problem C. Alright, let's see how you did. First, let's change the surface area of the smallest Great Lake, which is Ontario. Let's change that to scientific notation. Okay, so 18,160 square kilometers becomes 1.816 times 10 to the 4th. Okay. We're going to take the largest Great Lake, which is Lake Superior. Okay. We're going to do some division here. So here is Lake Superior, the largest one. Here's Lake Ontario, which is the smallest Great Lake, and we're going to divide it out. So in your calculators, you should have taken 8 divided by 1.816, and you got around 4.4. Okay. Then with our powers here, we're going to subtract. What is 4 minus 4? 4 minus 4 is 0, and anything to the 0 power is always 1. So actually, this part right here cancels out. So our answer is just 4.4. So what that is saying is that Lake Superior is about 4.4 times bigger than Lake Ontario. Okay? What I want you to do now in your guided practice, this is the end of this part of the lesson. I want you to go to your guided practice and do problems number 1, number 2, and number 3. Those are the only 3 that you have to do for homework tonight. Then tomorrow night, we'll do the addition and subtraction. Okay? So come prepared tomorrow with 1, 2, and 3 done, and we will work on multiplying and dividing in scientific notation. Okay?